Aloha. This is Joshua Bowles with Lyric Woodwork and Snake Road Sawmill. And we are continuing our series of Woods of the Pacific. And this week we are talking about Albizia. And we have a special guest, Joey Valenti with the Albizia Project. You want to introduce yourself, Joey?
Yeah.
Say a little bit about what you do.
Hey, Joshua. I'm Joey Valenti, founder of the Albizia Project. And just like in the name, we do everything relating to the Albizia tree. Our main focus is establishing the supply chain, what you're seeing at the site here, capturing that waste stream. If you've heard of Albizia, you probably know it's an invasive tree species, a big issue statewide, millions of dollars being spent on managing and removing, but really no efforts to utilize the resource. So that's where we come in and we try to make all kinds of wood products and create an industry around that.
And where does Albizia come from originally?
The Moluccas Islands in Papua New Guinea.
Oh yeah? From like a small area then?
Yeah, I believe so. The island, one of the island nations, in I guess Southeast Asia. Asia
And you think they were brought here to Oahu on purpose?
I know they were.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What was the reasoning?
It was about a century ago, I think a little more than a century ago. There's a guy named Joseph Rock who was a botanist, and he wasn't thinking 100 years ahead, right? He was thinking, how do we solve a problem today? And their problem was actually the forests were widely denuded due to cattle ranching, deforestation of koa, sandalwood, over harvesting. So the landscapes back then, I think, looked a lot different than today. And their motivation was to bring in a nitrogen fixing species that would help to restore. It did serve its purpose, but today we now see it as, a widely spread invasive species.
And I guess you picked it grows fast, I would imagine. And is there something special about it that like fixes the nitrogen in the soil?
Yeah, so they say it's the fastest growing tree species in the world.
Oh yeah?
In Hawaii, because it doesn't have the predators and pests that it does in its native range. So that's one of the factors. It's a seed pod system, right? So it spreads with the winds here all over and just populates faster than other native species.
And it seems like at all elevations too? Or just higher in the mountains, maybe?
I think it prefers the valleys, but it appears to be able to survive anywhere it lands. Yeah, because you see it out here, right, in the by your sawmill and in the valleys.
Yeah. Did they ever use the wood for anything, or was it just for the nitrogen part?
I think there's a market back where they're from. I'm not too familiar with much of that. I've read a few articles on it. I think they use it for pallet wood, for I think even construction in some cases. I've done testing on the wood, and it's surprisingly it has a strong strength to weight ratio, and I would say it's comparable to like a pine. In terms of that like density and strength.
But somehow it seems softer than pine. Like you can, with your fingernail, you can make a mark in it.
Yeah, it's definitely got a different.
But it does have a strength.
Different characteristics, yeah, and it ranges. So I've noticed from tree to tree, log to log, you can have a 50% difference in density of the wood. So that softer stuff, you definitely see, more often than you see the more dense. But there is some stuff that's like mahogany density.
Because I feel like I was at a sawmill on the Big Island, and I saw some Albizia that they had like slabs of it, and it was quite pretty, and it seemed denser than the Albizia I'd seen. So yeah, it's interesting.
I was over in the shop earlier today milling a few hundred board feet of Albizia right now, and just about every board from that, probably 2 logs that we're working out of is surprisingly dense. I would say it's like a mahogany. So heavy. These boards that we're looking at here, I can already tell just because of the color. It's very light.
Yeah, so, and the bugs don't appear to be getting after it.
No, it's not. It's not like mango. Some of the woods they're just eating up. They tend to get it while it's in log form, so that's where you see some of those bug holes. But once it's dry, not a lot of activity.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the process. So obviously, It starts over here.
Yeah. Starts with the log. Well, with the tree, you know, and before we were in the picture, I think most of this volume of Albizia was ending up in the landfill or just being left to decompose.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really our mission, is to capture that waste stream and to not let that happen anymore. So what you're looking at here is just some of our log pile. You know, there's a bunch more buried in the guinea grass, but essentially we move through this, you know, in a few weeks, and then we'll have a new truckload come through and drop off wherever the next removal project's happening.
What's the biggest one you've gotten?
This was probably it. I mean, we've milled through most of it, so you're just looking at kind of what's left.
Nice straight sections. That's like 12-foot straight.
Yeah, this came from the veteran cemetery in Kaneohe. And I don't know if you've driven through and seen over that way, but if you look behind the cemetery, it's like towering Albizia trees.
And it actually has a nice shape too. It kind of like a terraced.
And we could only take so much of that, so we really focus on all the bigger stuff. And I'm not sure, I think they had a few other guys pick up what was left, but we weren't even able to take all of it. It was just too much.
How is it for stability? It looks like,
it
generally seems like it's fairly stable.
It's fairly stable. You know, you don't get, because it grows so tall and straight. Obviously we're selective of the limbs that we choose, you know. But yeah, when you look down it, it's like pretty dang straight. Yeah, and then it's all about how you dry it, you know. We're not going to leave it like that. We're going to stick it properly and get it in the shop, out of the sun, out of the rain. And we've had pretty good success rate.
But it also seems like the sun isn't going to like split it or check it too badly. Like, you know, some woods, like you leave lychee out in the sun.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You know, I think most of that happens in the log form. So then we're just working through those checking splits in the log. But once it's done the work there, it's kind of just stabilizes.
So tell me about your mill. What are you working with here?
Yeah, so this is a mobile dimension sawmill,
which I haven't heard of. Is that a U.S. brand?
Yeah, it's U.S. made. It's a small company that was doing it. I think started in like the 70s or 80s. We got this one used from the Big Island, actually. The guy had two. This one was just sitting in a box. So we fixed it up, brought it over, got it running, and it's been an amazing machine. Yeah. As you can see, it's got the vertical large blade. Circular blade,
and it looks like it's only got like 6 teeth or something.
And it's got 2 horizontals. So what it does is it'll shoot down the log, drop, and then pull your board out for you as it comes back. I see. So it kind of feeds your board back, and then you're getting a dimensional piece of lumber. So you got 3 cuts coming off of it.
And what's the standard dimension you mill to?
You can do up to 4x8s, I believe, or maybe even 4x12s. I think 4x12 is the max. And you know, we typically will do like 8/4 by 8-inch wide or 6-inch wide. It's kind of our standard. But we're doing custom. That's our range. Yeah.
Is there any interest, anything going on with like using it for construction, or does it mostly seem like its future here is going to be for furniture, surfboards? That kind of stuff?
You know, I wouldn't say it's going to ever compete with like Home Depot dimensional lumber. You know, they've got that system so large. You know, they're too big to compete with, right? So I don't think we'll ever be that. But one thing I've seen potential with is like glulam, or some type of mass timber product, you know, where you actually have the wood exposed, and you know, maybe there is a slight cost difference in that, but you get to celebrate the visual appearance of the Albizia wood. So I think that's an important factor, is that people want to see that wood that you know, has a story. That, you know,
and it's a good looking wood. I mean, it's because, you know, pine can tend to be yellow, and so like too much pine in a room is like visually overwhelming. Whereas often it seems like Albizia is kind of a nice like cream.
It is a nice
slightly
cream.
Like lilac, a little bit of pink to it sometimes. But it's quite attractive, especially I could see it used for like paneling as well.
Exactly. Yeah. My house actually did tongue and groove wall paneling, and it's stunning.
Uh-huh.
It's very light, you know, so it makes the space feel bigger.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like an alternative to painting your walls white,
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And we've actually had a scientist come through and reach out about the chatoyancy of the wood.
Yeah, I've heard of this,
Heard of
the
that?
French term.
Yeah, so I guess it has the highest chatoyancy of all wood species
Oh, yeah?
on the planet. So it's
Interesting.
like this reflectivity of like the tone of the wood and something in the grain that makes it like a very like bright.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And how did you finish it in your house?
You know, there's different options. I tend to lean towards like a polyacrylic.
Mm-hmm.
Oil finish is often, you know, a good.
Or maybe
way to
does it soak up too much of an oil finish?
Oil? No, you know, 2-3 coats,
Uh-huh.
and you're good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of like a preference, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I can see it too, like it doesn't yellow when you apply a finish like some woods do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a nice thing.
Yeah, polyurethane tends to do more yellowing, but all the other
polyacrylic, probably less so.
polyacrylic is better. That's what we tend to do for interior. Yeah. Yeah.
So what kind of projects you got going on?
Right now we're working for, like, at this moment, Kukua, Kukua Hawaii Foundation. They're the nonprofit Jack Johnson's involved in, and his wife Kim. They reached out about doing some interior millwork for their farm stand that's about to open up.
Nice.
So that's the project at this moment we're working on, and we're building out, you know, a bunch of built-in stuff for their interior space.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of work like that. You know, we do sell dimensional lumber. We're getting ready to set that up where it's an online kind of accessible purchasing process that makes it real easy for the customer. And mostly our main focus is custom millwork, though. You know, interiors, residential projects. We did just do the Fest Pack. I don't know if you heard about that, but
Festival of the Pacific.
big festival, at the convention center. So we built all the hallway for that, which was pretty much took up the whole first half of this year. So we can do anything from furniture to, you know, big scale stuff like that. I think our biggest, you know, focus in the last year has been on our new retail space, the Albizia Surf and Coffee. So we're making chambered wood surfboards. We're making performance surfboards that have wood inlays with it. And the retail space is essentially like our showroom for the kind of the potential of what we can do with Albizia.
Yeah, because I've seen, there's a number of things you've experimented with. It's like the screens for like sifting.
Sand sifters. With sustainable coastlines.
What else you got?
Inside there, you know, if you walk it through the doors, you're already touching Albizia because the door system is all Albizia wood. The benches on the exterior with the planters built into them, Albizia. When you walk through the space, you're going to see railing, like really custom handrails and kind of guardrails on the staircase. That's all Albizia wood. Some of the furniture, and then we do a lot of home goods stuff, like, you know, serving platters, like you said, the sand sifters, lamps, tables. Yeah, you'll see all kinds of stuff in this space.
Cool. Yeah, you're right. It's fairly lightweight. Is it all like in the same family as, say, balsa wood?
I don't know if it's the same family, but I'd say similar properties for sure.
So the architects love building models out of balsa.
Yeah.
As a kid, I spent many hours building stuff out of balsa. So
that's why we're using it on surfboards. You know, balsa surfboards is like some of the early surfboard technology. So Albizia kind of works as a replacement for that. I wouldn't say balsa is a sustainable source, right? One of those over-harvested species. So we're definitely kind of tackling two things there.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your time, Joey. Really appreciate getting to tour your spot. All right. Well, this has been great, Joey. Thanks for showing us around, and I love what you're doing.
Thanks for coming through. Hopefully you guys come check out our shop up in Wahiawa.
Yeah, so it's got the coffee shop with all kinds of Albizia products in it and beautiful Wahiawa. And if you have any other questions or projects you're interested in, stop by our shop and please subscribe to our channel. Here we are at Albizia. This place is a temple to Albizia. The benches, the doors, the windows, the paneling, the sign, all Albizia. How amazing are these things? Absolutely beautiful, stunning. And even short boards, beautiful. This is the traditional Hawaiian surfboard, the Elia. How cute is that? That was awesome. Very cool. There's the tree. Beautiful full canopy terracing views.